stomachache, all those problems was there after the consumption. Later on, we came to know that it was due to lactose intolerance. And that incident, it made me to give a talk on beta galactosidase. So today we are going to discuss on application of beta galactosidase in dairy and food industry. In this, I'll cover the basic introduction of beta galactosidase, the source of the enzyme beta galactosidase, the methods for the immobilization, application of the enzyme, and the analytical application, legislation, commercial products available, and finally, I will conclude my session. So, as I have said, there is an impaired ability to digest lactose. It is being increasing, and that varies widely as per the place. Beta galactosidase enzyme, that is a basic enzyme present in the human system. So the enzyme will hydrolyze lactose into glucose and galactose. Not only the hydrolysis of lactose, that enzyme is having more applications than in food application. Also, it is having the application of galacto-oligosaccharide production, dietary supplements, and nowadays the people are more health conscious. So the lactose-free dairy products are gaining more importance. Much more advancements in the production of enzymes with respect to the biotechnological innovations and immobilizations are also there. Before going for the application of this enzyme, we are going to discuss about the enzyme beta galactosidase. So this enzyme is commonly known by the name lactase. The systematic name of the enzyme beta galactosidase is beta-D-galactoside galactohydrolase. And the International Union of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, IUBMB, have given a number for the enzyme beta galactosidase, that is EC32123. And this is for each enzyme. So this enzyme beta galactosidase, it works in a relative broad pH range, and that too, the fungal enzyme, that is the fungal source of beta galactosidase enzyme, is having an acidic pH of 2.5 to 5.4, and they are known as the acidic lactase. And the yeast and the bacterial lactase, they are having a pH range of 6 to 7, and they are known as the neutral lactase. So this enzyme, it has been classified into two families, and that too based upon the origin. So if it is from a plant origin, they are categorized into galactoside hydrolase 3,5, that is GH35. If their origin is from the microbial source, they are classified on the family galactoside hydrolase 2, that is GH2. So in this figure, you can able to see the structure of beta galactosidase. That is, they are comprised of 4 tetramer. That is, they are having stability. This is having 1023 amino acids in this tetramer. This is the structure of beta galactosidase. So these are some of the sources of the beta galactosidase. Main microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, yeast. Then other plant sources are there like almond, peach, apricot, apple, and even animal organs are being also used for the isolation of this beta galactosidase enzyme. And that to the bacterial source, mainly the bacterial beta galactosidase pH of 4.5 to 5.4. And for that reason, for the acidic pH, by using that for the preparation of the acidic way hydrolysis. Bacterial source of the beta galactosidase is having some advantages, like they have higher activity and enzyme, and also they yeast for the fermentation process. And we know the bacteria like bifidobacterium and lactic acid bacteria all are having drought status. So isolation from these will be more easier. Purification, all those steps will be easier. And the other sources are the fungal source and yeast sources also there. And in case of the fungal and yeast source, most commonly used sources for the commercial purpose are Clearomyces lactis and the Aspergillus species. And that too mainly Aspergillus oryzae and Aspergillus niger. and the industrial important enzymes, the Cleveromyces species and the Aspergillus species. And the two types of beta-galactosidase are increasing its significance in the industrial processing. They are thermostable and cold active beta-galactosidase. Thermostable in the sense we know, like they are having the temperature range more than that, the raw temperature will be more than 80 degrees Celsius. And that too, now the commercially, UHT milk, UHT low lactose milk is available in the market. And in case of the cold active beta galactosidase, they are known as the cyclophilic enzymes and they do possess higher catalytic activity and they can able to grow at low and moderate temperature. So coming to the beta galactosidase in so we all know that the beta galactosidase enzyme, that is the lactase enzyme, that is produced by the walls of the small intestine. So in this figure, you can able to see the normal lactose digestion. If a person can able to digest the lactose, that is lactase enzyme is present in the stomach, then when we are intaking lactose, this lactase enzyme, it will convert the lactose to glucose and galactose. In the case of a lactose intolerant person, in that case, lactase enzyme won't be present. So what happens? This lactose will be due to the bacterial fermentation, acid and gas will form, and that will lead to lactose intolerance. The lack of the enzyme beta galactosidase is the reason for the lactose intolerance. And if a person is having lactose intolerance, they will show abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, gas, nausea. So the symptoms of the lactose intolerance. So, they can and in case of the primary, it will be more evident in the childhood, like 2 to 20 years of all people will be having this primary lactase deficiency. The primary lactase deficiency is mainly due to the reduced synthesis of the enzyme in the stomach. And in coming to the secondary lactase deficiency, that is mainly due to the low level of this enzyme in the stomach. And this can be due to some gastrointestinal diseases like intestinal mucosal disease or some other abnormalities in the brush border cells. And coming to the congenital lactase deficiency. And this condition occurs when a person is having some genetic abnormality. And in this case, there are chances that there are very less lactase enzyme will be present in the stomach. And that too, a chance is therefore no lactase enzyme is present. So the treatment of the treatment of the lactose intolerance. There is no cure for the lactose intolerance, but we can able to take the reduced products, and also we can able to limit the amount of lactose intake. Also, as an alternative, supplements are there. Dietary supplements are there. We can able to intake the dietary supplements. And as a result, after the intake of the dietary supplements, we can able to take the milk or milk products which is having higher lactose. This is in case of the lactose intolerant person. So this is the optimum pH and temperature conditions of the beta galactosidase enzyme, and that will vary with their source. Mainly, here I have given some bacteria, some microorganisms which are present in the according to the location I have given, like intracellular, extracellular, and cell bound. These Cleveromyces species, Fragilis and Lactis, which is present, Lactis is present in the location is intracellular, and in both these cases, they are having the optimum temperature ranging from 30 to 45, and that the pH will be around in the range of neutral range. And in case of Bacillus circulans, they are present in intracellular, and the temperature will be optimum temperature of that enzyme will be 56 degrees Celsius with a pH range of 6.5. And in case of Aspergillus oryzae, that will be present extracellular, and the temperature will be 55 to 60 degrees Celsius, and the pH will be acidic range 4.5 to 5. So, this is the mechanism of lactose hydrolysis. Here you can see the structure of lactose. So, lactose in the brush border cells of the small intestine So this lactose is having, we know, it is having beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage. So the glutamic acid will donate the proton to the glycosidic oxygen in the lactose, and it will split the molecule to glucose and galactose, and this glucose part will be free, but this galactose part, it will form an intermediate complex like beta galactose enzyme, and the galactose will form a complex. So after in reaction with water, this enzyme galactose, this beta galactose and enzyme complex that will release the galactose. Simultaneously, in the second reaction, in case of the beta galactose enzyme and the galactose complex, it can able to form galacto-oligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic. And this is by the reaction of. Am I audible to all? Am I audible? Can you able to hear me?
Mr. Ragandu, there is some participants here complaining that there is a voice breakage. So I think all participants, will you please switch off their video? There may be some confusion. So please switch off your video so that I think it will be more audible. It is a request because so many people are complaining about the voice break. Okay, you continue now. Many other people, they have cut off the audio and video.
Okay, sir. Sir, I will continue from the mechanism of lactose hydrolysis. Okay, I hope now my voice is audible to all. So in the case of the mechanism of lactose hydrolysis, so here you can able to see the structure of lactose. So here we all know that the lactose is having beta-1,4-glycosidic linkage. So what will happen is the glutamic acid, it will donate the proton to this glycosidic oxygen in the lactose, so that it will split the molecule to glucose and galactose. In this reaction, first the glucose will be free, but this galactose, it will covalently bound to the enzyme, and it is in the circle. It is forming a complex. Beta galactose. I hope I'm audible now. Am I audible?
Voice breaking.
Okay, I think I will also switch off my video. 1 second.
Again, there is no need to switch off your video. Most of the other people, they have switched off their video. There may be some connectivity problem at your place at Gujarat, I think. Anyway, please continue.
Okay,
Anyway, we will be uploading this in our YouTube channel. Don't worry. Okay, continue.
Okay, sir. Okay, so on the second reaction, this beta galactose and the galactose complex, that will convert into galacto-oligosaccharide, which is a prebiotic. This is the mechanism of hydrolysis of lactose. So these are the figures of the structures of the beta galactose from the different origin. Like this is from the Cleveromyces lactis beta galactose, and this is from the Aspergillus oryzae beta galactose. In all the cases, there will be the donation of the proton to the glycosidic oxygen in lactose, and that will split the molecule, and that as a result, the glucose will be released. And this is the structure of E. coli beta galactosidase. To come to the biochemical changes. So, the neutral lactase, which is derived from the Cleveromyces lactis, upon acidification, that will rapidly lose its activity. In case of the yeast neutral lactase, they are rapidly denatured above the temperature of 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, but they will be active at low temperature. In case of the fungal acid lactases, they are most active under the acidic conditions, but they are having poor performance at milk pH. The lactase from the Aspergillus oryzae, they are having the optimum pH at 4.5, but the optimum pH of other fungal lactases might be somewhat lower. Also, they are having hydrolysis of the lactose of the fungal lactases at a temperature of 50 to 55 degrees Celsius, Also, also they're having the hydrolysis at the temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. So in this figure, you can able to see the structure of lactose and the hydrolysis of lactose. Complete hydrolysis will occur in the presence of beta-galactose as well as the water. So in this figure, you can see the lactose molecule is being broken down in the presence of beta-galactose and water into galactose and glucose. So the galactose is having the function of brain development. It promotes the brain development, and this glucose is having it acts as an energy source. And these are some of the methods of the enzyme immobilization. This enzyme immobilization will be important in the sense if we are going to use this beta-galactose enzyme, this enzyme purification will be, all these procedures will be cost. To make the process cost effective, we are going for the enzyme immobilization. And that there are different types of different methods like absorption, entrapment, covalent bonding, cross-linking, and encapsulation. In this, adsorption is the most simpler and the most cost-effective method. But they're having, of course, this is a simpler method, but they're having some disadvantages also. Like in case of the entrapment method and covalent, this entrapment method is the permanent method for the immobilization of the enzyme. So in this slide, we can able to see the immobilizing agent of different immobilization methods. So the immobilization methods, like for the adsorption, the immobilization agent can be chitosan, polyvinyl chloride, silica gel membrane. And for entrapment, it can be polyacrylamide gel, alginate. And for covalent, it can be chitosan, bead, and nylon membrane. Application of beta-galactose. The beta-galactose is having a wide application, and that too mainly in dairy industry, also in food industry. So we are discussing one by one. So we are treating the milk and the whey by the enzyme beta-galactose, or commonly known as lactase. They are getting the hydrolyzed milk. Not only the hydrolyzed milk, from the milk we can able to manufacture other products like flavored milk, yogurt, cheese, ice cream, kova, milk powder. And in case of the whey, the hydrolyzed whey can be used for the other food applications like candies, confectionery, sweets. As the lactose, when breaking down into glucose and galactose, these two monomers, the glucose as well as galactose, they are more sweeter than the lactose. So they can able to use for the manufacture of sweeteners. And it is also having some other applications like biotechnological applications and dietary supplements. So this flowchart shows the production of different lactose-free dairy products like yogurt, cheese, milk powder, and ice cream. So before going for the production of each, or before discussing about each product, we should know what are the requirements for that enzyme to make a product. In case for the application in the liquid dairy products, the enzyme should be obtained from the source which is having GRAS status, generally regarded as safe. Also, it should be having a neutral pH, that is pH ranging from 6 to 7. It is to allow the efficient hydrolysis of lactose at milk pH, and ideally it will be active at low temperature. Also, this enzyme should be inactivated by pasteurization or subsequent UHT treatment. So that only we can able to ensure that this enzyme is not present in the final product. If in case of the lactose-free milk, it should not be present in the final lactose-free milk. And also, the concentration we are adding should be enough to maintain the quantity or the quality which we need in the final product. If we are aiming for a product, in case of a lactose-free milk, if you are aiming to prepare a lactose-free milk of having less than 0.1% lactose, the amount of or concentration of lactase enzyme we are adding should be enough to meet that requirement in our final product, and to prevent the off-flavor formation upon prolonged storage of UHT milk. Of course, in case of the hydrolysis, the products galactose and glucose, they are more pronounced for the Maillard browning. So to prevent in case of the Maillard browning, off-flavor formation will be there. So to prevent that, in case of the UHT milk, mainly in case of the UHT milk, we have to make sure regarding the quality of enzyme, beta-galactose enzyme which we are using, and all the processing conditions should be of hygienic practices. And we have to store the milk or the initial raw materials in a in cold room. Means there should be the cold storage. And for the beta-galactosidase required for the production of galacto-oligosaccharides. For the production of galacto-oligosaccharides, that enzyme, it should be functional at high lactose concentration, because there is for the production of galacto-oligosaccharides, there is a trans galactosylation reaction, and it is most efficient at high lactose concentration. Also, that enzyme should be able to function at high temperature to increase the lactose solubility. Also, it should be efficient in long chain galacto-oligosaccharide formation. Also, this should be having poor galacto-oligosaccharide hydrolysis activity. That it should not permit the afterwards hydrolysis of this galacto-oligosaccharides. And these are the requirements of the enzyme for the different products. And coming to the lactose hydrolyzed milk, we know that this lactose hydrolyzed milk or the low lactose milk have been more popular nowadays. Amul has launched lactose-free milk, and here we are going to discuss the lactase enzyme, which was isolated from Enterobacter colaceae, and it was immobilized. We have discussed regarding immobilization, and it was immobilized through the entrapment using alginate gel. As a result, in this study, they have got lactose-free milk with a concentration of 39.33 international unit per mg at a temperature of 50 degrees Celsius and a pH of 9. And in case of the production of lactose hydrolyzed UHT milk, so in that case, the lactase enzyme was sterile filtered and is added into the package after UHT treatment. And they have limited the hydrolysis in between 80 to 90% to avoid the over sweetness, because there will be this that is more sweeter than the lactose. So they have limited the degree of hydrolysis to 80 to 90%. Also, we know like the lactose hydrolyzed milk can be used for the preparation of flavored drink, cheese, yogurt, other dairy products. And in case of the production of frozen dairy products, we know in case of frozen dairy products, the major defect will be sandiness. So to avoid the sandiness, to avoid the lactose crystallization, we can able to go for the addition of, we can able to go for the hydrolysis of lactose, and it will enhance the digestibility as well as the flavor. So here the lactozyme immobilized on cellulose leaves, they have given the result of 60% hydrolysis of milk lactose, that too within 5 hours. And the high degree of conversion, like 85 to 90% of lactose, is shown in saline solution well permeate and skimmed milk, which is this was obtained from the immobilized beta-galactosidase Sclerodermyces lactis. So coming to the next product, yogurt. Yogurt, we know that the fermented products, as compared to the normal milk, if a person is lactose intolerant also, this fermented products is more digestible for the lactose intolerant people. While comparing the lactose hydrolyzed yogurt with the normal yogurt, this lactose hydrolyzed yogurt, it is having a higher rate of lactic acid production, and the waste separation is also reduced with improved flavor, body and texture. As the rate of lactic acid production is higher, there will be the faster acid development, and it requires only shorter time for the coagulation, and it also having the advantage like it will be more sweeter without the addition of another sugar source. And in coming to the frozen dairy products. Coming to the frozen dairy products, if there is the lactose hydrolysis, there will be a decrease in the freezing point. That's a qualitative property. There will be a decrease in the freezing point. So it will improve the smoothness and the scoopability of the final product. Also, we have discussed the beta-galactosidase will prevent the crystallization of the lactose by breaking the glucose and by breaking the lactose into glucose and galactose, and further it will reduce the salmonella. In a work they have discussed, they have replaced 75% of the milk solid not fat with the lactose hydrolyzed demineralized whey powder, and that product was acceptable with improved creaminess. Also, in another study, they have replaced 25% of the milk solid not fat by lactose hydrolyzed whey in ice cream, ice milk, milkshake, and low calorie frozen dessert mix. And that also improved the organoleptic and physical quality of the product. So coming to the food application, we know that whey is a major pollutant or the major waste in the waste which cause the pollution in the dairy industry. We can able to hydrolyze the whey using the beta galactosidase, and it is having important applications since that it is more sweeter, and we can able to use the whey, hydrolyzed concentrated whey, for the manufacturing of the sweeteners, and that too in the products like canned fruit syrups, soft drinks, then confectionery, sweets, for in the baking industries, ice creams, dairy desserts, molasses, etc. Cheese. Cheese whey. Cheese whey is having 0.7% protein, around 4.5 to 5% lactose, 93% water, and 0.5% minerals. So as we have said, the cheese whey is a highly polluting substance. So if we can able to hydrolyze the cheese whey, then using the beta galactosidase, so the glucose is more nutritious. So we can able to use this hydrolyzed whey as a cheap and readily available substrate for microbial cell cultivation. The cheese which is manufactured by hydrolyzed milk, it will ripen more quickly than that of the milk, that of the cheese which is made from the normal milk. So it is also the galacto-oligosaccharides. The galacto-oligosaccharides can also be manufactured by enzymatic trans-galactosylation reaction. We have seen by discussing the structure, while discussing the hydrolysis of lactose. So it can be used for the manufacture of galacto-oligosaccharides, and which is this is a readily available byproduct in the cheese industry, mainly in the cheese industry. Also, the beta galactosidase it will improve in the production of the cheddar cheese. Like it will improve the production and aging. That is, the cheese production become more faster and cheaper with improved organoleptic process. Like the cheddaring time will be reduced. There will be an increase in the ratio of the soluble nitrogen to total nitrogen and non-protein nitrogen. So these are some of the other products like flavored lactose-free milk. In case of the flavored lactose-free milk, it is having the major advantage that we all know, means we have discussed, like in case of the UHT milk, there will be Maillard reaction or Maillard reaction of flavors can be there. So in case of the flavored lactose-free milk, we are adding flavors. So that will help to mask, if any, the off flavors, if any, that will help to mask the flavor. Since it is having strong flavor and color, it will be more acceptable flavored lactose-free milk. Also, in case of dairy powders, this dairy powder, milk powder or whey powder, they can be prepared from milk or whey. And that too, if you are using the lactase enzyme for the production means, we are converting the lactose to glucose and galactose. This glucose and galactose, during drying, it affects, like there will be greater adhesion to the equipment. And there is a tendency to browning, more compared to that of in case of lactose. And there will be a decrease in the solubility, and the microstructure will also be modified. So the other product, buttermilk, this study has been conducted by Singh and his co-workers, and they have used concentrated paneer whey, and it was hydrolyzed up to 55% using the enzyme beta galactosidase. And they have formulated an acceptable buttermilk, and they have used dahi in the ratio for the blending in the ratio of 1:1, and it was highly acceptable. So coming to Kova. Kova also prepared from the lactose hydrolyzed buffalo milk, and the final product shows lower acidity. There was an increase in the HMF content, higher color intensity, then textural properties like there was a lower hardness and the chewiness of the product was increased. And also they were having higher means acceptable microbiological quality during the storage of 5 to 7 days for 5 to 7 degrees Celsius for 28 days. And the maximum lactose hydrolysis they have obtained was 95%. So coming to the heat treated products, as we have discussed, there will be the intense Maillard reaction. So due to the reducing sugars and the hydrolysis of 70% of the lactose in milk that increases sweetness by an amount which is corresponding to the addition of 2% sucrose. So coming to the beta-galactosidase role in whey utilization. So disposal of whey is a major problem in the dairy industry as it is having high BOD as well as COD. The BOD of the whey ranging from 35,000 ppm, more than that, and in case of the COD it will be 60,000 ppm. And it also the whey is having higher, means 5 to 6 dissolved solids is there. So if you are converting the whey by using the enzyme, we can able to utilize the whey for other products, and it will be a good solution for the byproduct problem mainly in the cheese manufacturing industry. Also, the ethanol production using beta-galactosidase, which is synthesized by Pleuromyces species. In that case, well permeate and cheese powders are used as the growth medium. So these are some of the lactose hydrolyzed whey products. Not only whey drink, lactose hydrolyzed whey has also been used for the preparation of buns. This work has been done by Somashekara and his co-workers. They have done by utilizing 20% lactose hydrolyzed paneer whey. That paneer whey was 60% hydrolyzed. So that was used for the preparation of the buns, and this lactose hydrolyzed paneer whey that was replaced by maida. 25% replacement was there, and they have successfully made bun using this lactose hydrolyzed whey. Also, in case of the whey beverage, so another worker they have utilized the whey for the production of carbonated lemon beverage, and they have used the lactose hydrolysis of within 80% hydrolyzed whey. That to paneer whey they have used, and that end product was acceptable up to 49 days at refrigerated temperature. So this is the lactose hydrolyzed whey candy. Bansi have made fruit candy, and they were prepared using hydrolyzed paneer whey along with the beetroot powder and pomegranate powder. And they have added the rate, means the hydrolysis rate was around 90%. And she successfully made the product, and compared to the control, that product was having reduced, or it was able to prevent the crystallization during the storage, and she can able to add reduced or the small amount of sucrose as compared to that of the control. And another worker, they have used 84.35% lactose hydrolyzed cheddar cheese whey for the preparation of candy. And they also could able to limit the sugar addition in the lactose hydrolyzed whey as compared to that of the unhydrolyzed whey. Coming to the bread making, the skim milk solids in the bread, they're contributing about 1.5% of lactose. So this lactose, thus incorporated, it is not yeast fermentable. So it will impart some additional sweetness on the overall basis. So while converting the lactose into glucose and galactose, this glucose will impart, or it will help in the fermentation of the dough for the preparation of the bread. And the galactose, it will help for the crust formation of the bread. And the hydrolysis, it will impart sweetness to the product. So coming to galacto-oligosaccharides. The galacto-oligosaccharides, they are non-digestible prebiotics. So they can able to modify our intestinal microflora of the human health. In the human milk, this bifidobacteria in the intestine, gastrointestinal tract, mainly in the newly born and in case of the breastfed infants. So we know that the prebiotics, they will promote the growth of the useful bacteria in our intestine. And this galacto-oligosaccharides, as we have discussed while discussing the hydrolysis of lactose, this galacto-oligosaccharide, they are produced simultaneously during the lactose hydrolysis, and that through trans-galactosylation activity of the beta-galactosidase. So coming to the application of the galacto-oligosaccharides. The galacto-oligosaccharides, they are used in the foods. As a result, the food products they can be used for the production or the manufacture of soft drinks, cookies, cereals, chewing gums, candies, ice creams, yogurts, milk powder, etc. Not only in the food application, this galacto-oligosaccharide is a prebiotic. They have application in the cosmetics additive. They are used as a cosmetic additive also, and also they are used for the production of the low-calorie sweeteners. So apart from the food application or the dairy application, biotechnological application of the beta-galactosidase. As we have discussed, the cold-active beta-galactosidase and the thermophilic beta-galactosidase is gaining importance in the commercial. Commercially, they are gaining more importance. So this thermophilic beta-galactosidase, they can be a useful alternative to the mesophilic enzymes, which can be used in the industry. Means in case of the industry where means higher heat treatment is required to sterilize the product. In case of the wall cells, we are using as a source of beta-galactosidase. There will be the problem for the permeability problem will be there in case of the beta-galactosidase. In that case, this biotechnological application is significant in the permeabilization technology. Like the sacrification of the milk vein using the ethanol permeabilized cells in packed bed bioreactor, they can able to permeabilize they can able to increase the permeabilization of the lactose hydrolysis rate up to 99.5% of milk-based lactose, and that to hydrolyze at a temperature of 30 degrees Celsius for 30 hours. And sonication can also be a good alternative, that is used for the release of the beta-galactosidase enzyme activity. That release will be higher in case of the sonication. So this was a work done in Anand Agricultural University, and she have done the isolation of the production of the beta-galactosidase enzyme from safe lactic acid bacterial cultures, and she have prepared the lactose hydrolyzed milk, which can able to just for the lactose for the lactose intolerant population. So here the sonication treatment was found the best for the production of beta-galactosidase enzyme. And in this study, they have used several strains of the lactic acid bacteria, and finally they were finalized with the strains of lactic acid bacteria B3, NK2, and NK9. NK9, that is these three strains: Lactobacillus helveticus, Lactobacillus acai, and Lactobacillus rhamnosus. These three strains were used for the study. So coming to the dietary supplements. In the case, if a person wants to take some lactose containing product and that person is lactose intolerant, in such case, those persons can able to ingest the dietary supplements which is available that before the meal. So commonly we are using acid lactase for the means as a dietary supplement because our stomach pH is acidic, so we are using acid lactase. So the enzyme beta-galactosidase to apply as a dietary supplement should have some specific properties, and they are: it should be stable and preferably active at our stomach pH. That's why we are using the acid lactase. Also, it should be resistant to drying because we are using tablet or some drop forms we are using. So it should be resistant for drying. Also, in that tablet form, in that small concentration should be enough. It should have enough strength for giving the required activity. And also, it should not be vulnerable to proteolytic degradation to extend its lifespan in the stomach. Mainly, the commonly used lactase, acid lactase in the application of the dietary supplement is Aspergillus oryzae. Coming to the analytical application of beta-galactosidase. The biosensors are the main application in the analytical aspect. Like the biosensors, they're having two enzymatic activities, the two activities from the beta-galactosidase enzyme as well as the glucose peroxidase. So it is used for the quantification or the detection of the lactose, mainly in the commercial sample of brain. So to avoid the interference of the beta glucose, a degree of different modes of measurements that was done using biosensors. So in case of the beta-galactosidase from Streptococcus mitis with a choline binding domain that was identified. There were some markable or differentially functional properties for the biotechnological application. Also, the biosensors like amperometric biosensors, glucose oxidase biosensors, and in case of ELISA, this beta-galactosidase enzyme has been used. So, beta-galactosidase test. This beta-galactosidase test, ONPG test, alternative name, orthonitrophenol beta-D-galactopyranoside. This test is not to determine how much it is not to determine how much beta-galactosidase or the lactase is present in the end product. This is for the preparation to identify the presence of this lactase enzyme in a biomass. Okay, and this test, it will show the presence or absence of this enzyme in the biomass or the cell. So in this reaction, this ONPG, orthonitrophenol beta-D-galactopyranoside, is used as a substrate. So in the presence of the enzyme beta-galactosidase and water, it will decompose to beta-D-galactose and orthonitrophenol. So this, if the orthonitrophenol is present, that shows a positive test. And the positive test, in this you can see the positive test of ONPG will show a yellow color, and the negative is don't having any color change. And this way you can able to see the orthonitrophenol, this ONPG substrate. Also, the activity of the beta-galactosidase is expressed in lactose hydrolysis unit. The ONPG test can be also done by ONPG broth and ONPG disc. So these are the commercial sources of the enzyme beta-galactosidase. From the source, the enzyme, and the trade name and the supplier. Mainly, we will might be familiar with the name trade name Maxilact. The Maxilact enzyme source is Cleveromyces lactis, and the supplier is DSM Food Specialist. And that is the most commonly seen or most commonly familiar trade name will be lactozyme. And in case of lactozyme, the enzyme source is Cleveromyces marcianus, and the supplier is Novozyme. And according to the source, this enzyme source, the trade name and the supplier is given in this slide. So we will see the market development of the lactose-free dairy market. Nowadays, the market means lactose-free dairy products are gaining more importance. As such, you can see from this is a CAGR estimate of the lactose-free dairy market segment, and that is from 2017 to 2022. And we can see there is only an increase in the production or the means in the market of the lactose-free dairy, and that too mainly the lactose-free milk is gaining more importance nowadays. So these are the current players of the means the lactase enzyme in the market, not the dairy product, the lactase enzyme. Lactase enzymes are neutral lactase and acid lactase. And in case of the neutral lactase, Novozymes, DSM Food Specialties, then DuPont, Chris Hansen, and Kerry. They are the common players in the market. And for the acid lactase, the main producers are DSM and Amano, Shin Nihon. These are the main players in the market. Coming to lactose hydrolyzed product. Amul, we know. Amul is having UHT milk, that too lactose-free milk. So in India, Amul is producing the lactose-free milk. And the first lactose hydrolyzed liquid milk that was produced by Centrale Lactate in Lanham, and that too UHT milk. And the first lactose hydrolyzed milk product was by a Dutch company, CCF, Dutch dairy company CCF. And Valio is having Hyla UHT milk. The name Hyla that comes from hydrolyzed lactose. From that the name comes Hyla UHT milk. And in case of the industrial production of whey syrups using immobilized malt lactase and at low pH, Dairy Crescent, UK, and Value Dairy, Finland, they are in the market. And the lactate, they are producing lactose hydrolyzed UHT milk. So in this, you can able to see the commonly available lactose hydrolyzed products like cottage cheese by lactate, then lactose-free milk by lactate, and these are the drops which we have discussed in the dietary supplements. Not only chewable tablets, there are drop form also. This lactase enzyme is available as a dietary supplement. Also, Amul is having lactose-free ice cream, then lactose-free milk, UHT milk, and Value is having Hyla milk Value is having the Hyla milk, and also they are having skimmed milk powder, lactose-free skimmed milk powder, and several other products is also available in the market. So these are the regulations for the enzyme beta-galactosidase. According to the FSSAI, this beta-galactosidase enzyme, they can be used for the treatment or processing of raw materials, or it can be used as an ingredient, and that too, these two sources are permitted. Chloromyces lactis and Bacillus circulans species are permitted. And in case of nutraceuticals, this lactase enzyme, they're permitted at a level of 3,000 to 9,000 international unit per day. Also, this Bacillus circulans N31, the beta galactosidase is produced from this strain. They can be used as a food enzyme for the production of galacto-oligosaccharides and up to 2 gram food enzyme per kg of lactose. And that was given by EFSA standards. So these are the beta-galactoside preparations in the GRAS notice. So the GRAS generally regarded as safe. The GRAS have given GRAS number and the corresponding from which source they have been isolating the beta-galactosides and regarding for the intention of the use. In this case, you can see the GRAS number 743. The intended use was the production of galacto-oligosaccharides. So, the enzyme beta-galactosidase is gaining an industrial importance nowadays, and it is having a wide range of application, and that too in for the production of for the production of galacto-oligosaccharides for the food industry, and some environmental applications like in case of the waste disposal problems will be rectified, and for the production of sweeteners. And there are many sources of beta-galactosidase, and we can able to produce them by the immobilization technologies with better performance and better cost effective. And the immobilization techniques that they are providing for the reutilization of this enzyme. And hope so the enzyme beta-galactosidase and its application have given a solution for the problem of lactose intolerance also. And thank you everyone. And especially in this occasion, I would like to thank IDEA Kerala chapter and College of Dairy Science and Technology, and mainly Dr. Deepaki sir for giving me such an opportunity to deliver a speech, and that too in my alma mater. I'm so happy for that. Thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rakitu. The session is now open for discussion.
This is Bharti. Can I ask question?
Yes, ma'am, you may proceed.
Yes, I'm Bharti from Manna Trimulanayaka College, Madurai. Actually, I'm doubt in is there any possible to get glucose, galactose, fructose if I take lactose as supplement?
Lactose is a supplement.
Yes. If I'm taking lactose as a supplement, is there any possible to get glucose, galactose, fructose?
Means you are aiming like you are taking lactose and you want to get supplement as glucose and galactose.
Yes.
Actually, I'm sorry that I'm not clear with your question.
Actually, I'm asking.
Miss Bharati Ganesh, your audio is not clear. That is why she could not answer. Can you make it clear, or you can put your question in the chat box? That will be
Sure,
more
sir. Sure,
useful.
sir. I'll send the message. I'll send the message to her.
You send the message. Meanwhile, Ms. Ragendu, there is a question from Nilesh Vaidya. How much lactose contained in lactose-free milk? Is there any standards for lactose-free milk and ice cream also? Some of the things you have already explained. Anyway, you can answer that question.
Yes, sir. In case of the lactose-free milk, there is a standards. FSSAI standards are there for the lactose-free milk. Mainly two types, means lactose-free and lactose reduced. Lactose reduced means there will be lactose content less than 1%. In case of the lactose-free products, means lactose-free milk, there will be the lactose content should be less than 0.1%. For an industrial purpose, they are going for a safety less than 0.05% and all. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, it is clear. It is clear. Okay, it is okay.
Okay, sir.
So, does any other participant they are having any question? Please ask the question, please.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Lactose intolerance, I hope it's like insulin deficient as that of it's compared to that insulin deficient people in India. People used to have lactose intolerance in European countries. What about the ratio of people having lactose intolerance?
And Dr. Shankaran, see, if suppose if a child is getting some lactose intolerance, getting diarrhea and other things, what is the immediate solution has to be given for the remedial for a child of about 6 months old?
So actually, in a case of a child, means primary stage of lactose intolerance will be there. So in that case, we can go for means first we have to means we can avoid the use of the lactose in high concentration. They are children now. Means there is no cure for the lactose intolerance. Only we can go for a lactose reduced product, or either we can give the supplements or taking some other lactose reduced products only. So for children, it is better to avoid the lactose, means highly lactose containing products. And that there are several tests for the determining whether we are lactose intolerant or not. Like blood sugar we can able to measure. If we measure our blood sugar after means before and after the meal or taking the lactose product, means lactose containing product. So if it is higher than a critical limit, we can able to know that no, that person is not lactose intolerant. Another test is also there, blood test, then endoscopy. That also can be done to determine lactose intolerance. But in children, better to go for avoiding the lactose containing products. That to 6 months old.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Ragendu, there is a question from Bharati. If
Yes,
I
sir.
take lactose as supplements, is there any possibility to get glucose galactose? This is my question.
Okay, actually, we are talking about lactase enzyme. We are not taking the lactose as a supplement. I was talking about the lactase enzyme as a supplement. For to means if a person is not lactose, means person is lactose intolerant, which is having a deficiency in the lactase enzyme. I was telling about supplementing lactase enzyme to that person, not lactose. I hope that is clear. Yes, like I have seen a question like any special methods for the separation of lactose from milk. Of course, ultrafiltration can be used as a method for the separation, but in that same case, minerals will be also removed to the ultrafiltration. Any other questions?
So there is one question in the chat box, Raghavendra. Please answer.
Yes, sir. What is the ratio of lactose intolerance and diabetic scores in India? Actually, sir, the ratio of intolerance and diabetic scores, I am not aware of that. I'm sorry. I will let you know through the email. The ratio in the India regarding these two, I'm not aware, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry for that. Is there any other question regarding the topic? If there is any other questions, you can contact me in my email. I will provide my email also, and queries can be done to my email.
Rakendo, very good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the thing is, whether is there any solid state fermentation technology being applied to synthesize lactase enzyme for the application of food industry?
Sorry, sir, your question was not clear. I was getting some disturbance in between.
Okay, so solid state fermentation technology, whether it is being used to synthesize lactase enzyme for application in food and dairy industry.
Solid state fermentation. Sorry, sir, I'm not aware regarding the solid state fermentation regarding the synthesis of the hydrolysis of lactose, sir. Sure, sir, I will let you know. I will respond to your email, sir. I will let you know the answer.
Anyway, you have covered immobilized technology.
Yes,
for,
sir.
For lactase enzyme.
Yes, sir. Any other questions are there?
Organizers, please see that the questions are almost over. If they are having any further questions, they can put it in the chat box, or they can directly mail to Raghavendra. She will be able to answer you later. So I think that there is a photo session that is being arranged. Please proceed with that, organizers. Riyas.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you. So now I invite Dr. Lijimol James, Treasurer, Indian Dairy Association, Kerala State Chapter, to give away the vote of thanks.
Good evening, all of you. As we have completed the 5th event in connection with the birthday celebration of Dr. Varghese Kurian, organized by Idea Kerala Chapter, it is time to put on record our heartfelt gratitude to all who have worked hard for the well conduct of this program. First of all, let me thank Mr. Raghavendra Saji, our own student, for the wonderful presentation, covering right from the relevance, then it's production and the mechanism, and even the application side, and finally the major players. So thank you. It was really wonderful seeing you, and this is a time of pride for our teachers also for seeing you presenting very well. Happy congratulations and our sincere gratitude from organizers for a wonderful lecture. Let me take this opportunity to thank Dr. S. N. Rajkumar, Chairman, Idea Kerala Chapter, Dr. P.I. Givarghese, Vice Chairman, Idea South Zone, and all the dignitaries who have been a part of this event. Let me take this opportunity also to express our sincere gratitude to all the participants for spending your valuable time for this presentation and being a part of this, and for the role they have played to make it a successful one. Last but not the least, let me take this opportunity to thank Mr. Riyas, who had been the person behind this organization as well as well conduct of this program. Being a coordinator, he is doing a very good job. Congratulations and thank you on behalf of Idea Kerala Chapter. Once again, wishing you all a nice time and also good night. Thank you. Thank you from the organizers of this event. Thank you one and all.
So,
Thank you, ma'am.
yes, please see one thing. We are going to take a group photo of the participants. Please unmute your video. Please unmute your video so that it will be coming. It will be published in the Indian Dairyman. Please unmute your video. So it will be published. This photo will be published in all the leading newspapers and Indian Dairyman. Please unmute your video. Riaz, take ready for the photograph.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay, sir. 1 minute.
Please unmute your video. So we'll be taking a photograph.
Sir, okay, sir. It's done.
It is done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your active participation. The session has officially come to an end.
Okay, thank you.